And we are live. And my name is Shane Chebsey, and this is the Icecast Live. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ollie. How you doing, mate?
Hello. Top of the evening to you, Shane.
Oh, thank you very much. What's that mug you've got there?
It's my Batman mug.
Oh!
It's quite chip, but I try. If I'm not wearing a T-shirt that's comic related, I always make sure I've got something that's comic related.
That was brilliant. Oh, I like it. It's a bit
You've
of
got
a
to
green
show
theme.
it. Yeah. Well, it's too cold for my bald head, so that's why I've got a hat on. Too tight to put the heating on.
Yeah, I was going to say you're too tight to put the heating on.
No, it's just not very warm in this front room.
Oh, bless you. Bless you.
I think the butler forgot to pay the bills this month.
That the butler being your daughter doubles up as cheap labour, yeah.
That's it. Well, why have a kid and do all you work yourself, eh?
So tonight we are welcoming creator MICHAEL PENICK, and he's going to talk about his new book, Recovery Incorporated, which I spotted actually. I think it was on one of John Freeman's posts that he posted about it. Saw the artwork, saw some of the pages, and I just thought that looks like a great little bit of action adventure that more people need to know about. So here we are, and we're going to be talking to MICHAEL shortly. He's not with us at the moment.
Oh no, has he passed away?
I hope not. That would be very inconsiderate.
He's not with us at the moment. It sounded so dire.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, you've got to be careful at the moment. I'm talking like that. I am talking to him on the phone as on chat at the moment, and I think he's just trying to get onto the StreamYard. So while he's doing that, we'll play our little introduction. And hopefully he'll be with us when it ends. And welcome to the Icecast Live. And MICHAEL is in the chat. He's hit the wrong link. So, MICHAEL, you're probably watching this now going, how do I get in? So earlier on, I sent you a link a little bit earlier in the thread that I said that you can't share with anyone. That's the private link to get into the show. So if you hit that link, you'll join us. The one that you hit to comment on YouTube is a promotional link that you can share. So me and Ollie will just kick our heels while you work that out. And hopefully we'll speak to you very shortly. So how you doing, Ollie? I'm
all right, thank you. I see we're still going with the very long intro there. I thought we talked about this off camera last week. I thought Sam was the big video expert he was saying offline yesterday.
Yes, he did. And now he's not here. He's not turned up tonight. So I think that, he's just forgot, hasn't he?
Bless him. Well, he has got his kids to look out for.
He has. He's a family man.
I know it's that time of the day, isn't it, where he's putting them to bed.
Yes. Yeah, I think it is. So I think he always sort of, struggles a little bit with the time of day, that we do the show. But it's when it is. It's when it is. And if you want to be part of it, you've got to toe the line, Sam.
So listen, whilst we're waiting for Mike to get on and learn how to switch on and off a computer, you were telling me just before the intro how you'd come across this Kickstarter, because I know you do support a lot of Kickstarters. You're one of those, I suppose, hardcore fans that go out of their way to look for new projects. And you were saying just before you cut yourself off, I hasten to add, all about how you came across Recovery Incorporated.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was on John Freeman's site, Down the Tubes.
Down the Tube.
I think
Excellent
it was, yeah, it is a great. If you're out there, John, all right, mate. It's a great site, and it promotes British comics mostly and British creators, but it's got a wide remit, you know. And I just saw Recovery Incorporated on there. First of all, I thought, what a great title, you know. And then I thought, and then I looked at the artwork and some of the sample pages, and it just looked like a great action story, you know. And I wasn't familiar with Michael's work, and I wasn't familiar with Recovery Incorporated, but I just thought it deserved an audience, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, reading through his bio, he's done it all: advertising, film, illustration, obviously comic work as well, and something called interface design. I'm intrigued to know what that is straight away. Do you know what it is?
Interface design. I'm assuming it's the design of what we see when we go onto something like Facebook or Amazon.
Ah, yes.
And, you know, or software or something like that, and you design the whole interface experience.
Yeah.
I imagine that's what it is.
Ah, right. Things like hyperlinks onto StreamYard rather than onto YouTube, things like that.
Yeah, I imagine. Well, we'll ask Michael
I'm sure.
Well, we know he's online because he's been in the chat. And he's been talking to me. I said, you can join us now while the intro is playing. And he's just sent me a message back saying, I don't know what that means. But I know he's online. So I'm assuming he's watching us now. But I'm going to send him another message now.
You can send him the StreamYard.
Yeah, well, I've already got
it.
Yeah, the StreamYard link is on the is in the chat.
So you don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm going to resend it now, Michael. So it should appear in your Facebook chat. Just hit that link that I've just sent you, and then we should be able to get you in here into the studio. But don't share it with anyone else, because otherwise we'll be inundated with people. You know, you never know what you're gonna get on the show if you share that link. I know that some like chat shows like this, they share the links and they have 50 people in the chat.
Oh, right.
Or whatever the limit is, you know. And oh, I've just got a message from Sam. I've got a message from Sam, the imaginary man, guys. And he sent me a message saying, Shane, sorry, my internet is fucked.
Oh, dear. Normally mine goes off.
Yeah. So he's just just kicking.
Well, listen. Getting back to Recovery Incorporated, obviously I'm scanning the Kickstarter page. I'm making no lies about the magic behind the curtain. But I noticed already, I mean, it's got 14 days to go, 2 weeks. But it's it's a goal of about $6,000, 6,000. And it's already at 4,000. So clearly it's got a strong base out there already, and clearly a good following. It'd be interesting to see how it goes over the next 2 weeks with that uptick a lot of these campaigns get in the last few days. It seems to be very much on track for being out and about.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I was a bit distracted there.
That's all right. Listen, let me, whilst you are distracted, if you can let me share the page, hopefully.
Go for it. Yeah.
I can. There we go. There's the kick.
While we're waiting for Michael, we can have a look at the Kickstarter.
Yeah. So there's the brilliant artwork of the first front cover.
Let me share it. Hold on. There we go.
There we go. There we go.
Isn't that a lovely bit of art?
Isn't it just? It's very striking, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Can you do it so it's just that screen that you share?
Yeah. I can do that. But I can't see anybody else. But that's okay. No flicking the V's.
And we got a picture of Michael.
And there's a picture of Michael. He swears he's a nice guy, but I'll let him verify that in a few moments' time. Anyway.
I'm really...
I always, you know what? I
Go
always
on.
wondered what ever happened to that raving Viking from 2000, about 220 years ago. He's here. He's working in comics.
I know that's an awesome beard. I really hope now that when Michael comes on, that the beard is that good.
I would imagine it will be. If anything, lockdown has given people the opportunity to sort of think more about their beards. You're literally the only person, Shane, I know who hasn't grown a beard yet. What's stopping you from joining the Beardy Boys?
I look horrendous with a beard, mate.
Really?
I scare small children if I grow a full beard. You know, I mean, it's a bit, because I've got a bald head. So bald head, big beard, wide guy. You know, it can be a bit intimidating.
You know what? It would be, wouldn't it, to a young child? They'd think they'd step straight into Lord of the Rings, wouldn't they? I won't say what species you would be, Shane, but standing next to me, I think you can guess.
Probably an orc.
I was thinking more of a Gimli dwarf than an orc, mate.
Well, yes. Yes, definitely. Standing next to you, mate. What are you, 6'4", 6'5"?
6'5" on a good day, yeah.
Wow. Okay, Michael's just sent us another. Well, you can see it on the chat. I'll share it.
You'll have to share that one.
Yeah. So he said, when I try to open the link, I'm getting a blank page, which is very odd because that shouldn't happen.
Is he in Chrome or one of the others?
Yeah.
What Safari.
Yeah, Safari's good. I mean, I use Chrome.
No, what I mean is I did Safari the first time and it didn't work, and I went to a blank page and it says you've got to use some of these. So I'm guessing here, but it might be, if Michael's hearing us, it might be that he's using Safari and needs to get onto Chrome.
Yeah, he's just sent another message. Hold on. I like the way that all the trials and tribulations are just played.
Oh, yeah.
Played out live in front of...
You know what? This is the punk zine of podcasts. Just put it out and hope for the best.
That's what you got to do. Oh, we've got comments. Dust Bunny Mafia. So we'd have an elf and a dwarf.
Yes. Well, thank you.
He's not handsome enough to be an elf.
I was thinking more of an ent, but I'll go with elf every day of the week.
There's no way are you handsome enough to be an elf, Ollie.
Well, listen, if you're dismissing your viewers and their great taste, that's your problem. Me, I'm going to embrace Dust Bunny Mafia's compliments. It's the best I'm going to get all week, mate. So, you've got to take them where you find them.
Right then. Oh, we've had a comment already as well. About
fantastic cover. Yeah,
yes.
It is, isn't it?
It is a great cover, John. Yeah, it's really nice.
I'll have to ask Michael when he's on. I wonder whether the way comics are now advertised via online rather than you come across them in a shop, I wonder if that has any say on the cover design. I mean, that's a striking close-up cover that I showed, but it's not what you would normally get from a front cover of a comic. But on the internet, it takes you in straight away, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that, covers that show the human face are always good. Like close-ups of a human face like that does. On the internet, people gravitate to that, don't they? They always say, if you're going to do, if you want to promote something, put a human face on it. I think that works on the shelf sometimes as well. With
well, I do remember that wonderful variant cover scheme DC did 1 October. I remember the month, I don't remember the year, where they just had extreme close-ups of the character's face. So obviously on Superman, you'd have a front of him, and from a distance, going into comic shops, all of the DC comics that month really stood out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're going back a good 15. It might have even been at my time in Manchester. So we might even be going back to the early noughties, if not the late 90s, when variant covers were coming to an end. Yeah. But people were still coming out with not what I would call gimmicks, but really good ideas, like those front covers.
Yeah. I remember the Marvel 25th anniversary.
Yes.
Covers. They were great, weren't they? Like just the headshots, and then it had all the characters.
That worked really well.
Yeah, that was great. I'm trying to remember. Was it Ron Friends who did the frame? It was a mainstay Marvel.
It's got to be something like that, or John Romita, hasn't it? It's got to be. It had that classic 60s Silver Age Marvel look to it.
It did. Does anyone watching? Do you know who did the surround art on the Marvel 25th anniversary? We're not sure because
I'm going to look it up now. Whilst you're.
We should have encyclopedic knowledge of all comics, shouldn't we? Do this show, but there you go. We have a reasonable knowledge, but
it just shows we're not perfect.
Exactly. Just in case anyone was.
I've got lots of images of it, but
we'll
no
find out, information. Sure. Maybe Michael will know when he comes on.
Well, we'll find out. I'm sure I'll find out before that.
He's gone silent now, so I'm just going to check the messages to see if he's. Oh, here he is! He's coming on. Hey! Let's let him in. Here he is. Welcome, Michael.
I thought I was never going to make it. I've been listening to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And yelling at the screen.
You can yell at it all in person now.
Put your earphones in, because we're getting an echo. So.
Right. All right. Earphones are in.
One, two. Hey, we got no echo. That's great. Welcome, Michael. It's really good to see you. I cannot tell you how relieved I am to see your face. I don't think
I thought this was like a big joke. Like we're gonna have him on and not let him in.
Now we've got an echo on you. Where's that coming from?
It's coming from Mike, I think. You say hello again, Mike. Well, not hello twice. You only have to say it once.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is the plug? Are they plugged in properly? The headphones.
Have you got?
They're plugged in. Yeah.
I wonder where that echo's coming from. Then. Have you got
a hand over the mic? Does that?
Have you got speakers playing the show anywhere?
Oh, you know what? Yeah. Hold on. That'll do it.
Oh, brilliant.
I was trying to get it to work on my iPad because my phone battery was low, but in the time I was trying to get it to work on the phone charged enough that I was able to try it on the phone, and of course that's how it worked. So sorry, I had my iPad on.
Hey, we've had bigger problems than this before. Don't worry. On live streams, we had a huge delay once on a show. A lady was in. I can't remember where she was now. I think it was the Ukraine or somewhere like that. And there was just this massive delay. And the poor girl, she was just sitting there going, "This is horrible. This is horrible." We did the whole show, and she was like it was almost like 20 seconds, 30 seconds delay, which doesn't sound a lot, but when you're trying to talk, it was unbelievable. So this is like wonderful compared to that.
Oh yeah. This isn't bad at all. No.
So we've lost a little bit of time, but
but we don't have to ask any questions because Mike's heard all the questions we had.
He's heard all the questions. Yeah. So
actually,
I wasn't paying attention. I sort of heard you guys, but I was so desperately.
We've all been there.
Doing everything. I wasn't really paying much attention.
That's cool, man. That's cool. We still got a few viewers, so that's cool.
I wanted Freeman way back when.
Sorry, mate. I didn't.
We were talking about the Marvel frames. We were reminiscing about great front covers because your front cover to issue 1 of Recovery Incorporated is a close-up shot. And we were just ruminating whether or not there's a different way to market comics now that the internet exists. Because we were saying it's a very striking image when we shared the page of the Kickstarter, and it draws you in straight away. And so we ended up going down a little rabbit hole and talking about great covers using close-ups and the 25th anniversary of Marvel back in the mid-80s.
Yes.
You remember that?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't thinking about that when I did it.
No, I'm sure.
I actually did another before I did this one, but it's going to be in the cover for issue number 2 because once I was finished with that cover, I realized that it had everything with stuff that happened in the second issue, not the first issue. I was like, I can't use this at all. This gives away everything in the second issue. So I just had to set it aside.
Yeah.
And so that's the cover you can use. That's the cover you're going to use on the second issue, then.
And it actually, if you I probably shouldn't say this, but I will. It actually was used as a cover for a magazine. I think. I'm pretty sure it was one of the first or second issue of Strip magazine. Okay.
Okay.
We were talking about that.
It was for the magazine. You might have actually seen it already. Hopefully, you have buried your copy or never got it, and you've so.
Funnily
If
enough,
you have massive spoilers.
Yeah. Funnily enough, the Strip magazine was one of the things that sort of brought my attention to it, because obviously John was involved.
He surfs the net looking for words with strip in it. That's what he's telling us.
Yes, probably.
You got me. Because obviously it was originally going to appear, wasn't it, Michael, in Strip magazine, in the Strip anthology. This story.
It did. It was in the first 2 issues.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 chapters, the first 16 pages of issue 1, were in the first 2 issues of Strip magazine. The 3rd chapter, which would be the last 8 pages of issue 1, were scheduled to hold it because I was not for my work, which was the agreed upon thing. That wasn't John's fault. That was the financier of the magazine's fault.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, well, if I'm not getting paid, I'm not going to let it run.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was running. And it wasn't long after that everybody else was having issues, and then the magazine folded. So it wasn't just me having issues.
Well, you got out at the right time by the sound of things, Mike.
Well, yeah. I mean, I did a lot of work that I didn't get paid for.
Yeah.
That wasn't the first time that happened to me in the comic book industry. So.
Oh no, this happened before. That's
yeah.
Bad luck.
Yeah.
How did it happen before, or can't you tell us?
No, I can tell you. The first time it happened was I got hired by Devil's Due. Do you remember Devil's Due?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was hired to do a miniseries by Devil's Due with Rick Rim as the writer. This was right before he became mega famous. So he got fantastic for me in my burgeoning career, and got an issue and a half before they called me to say, you stop working on that because we can't pay you for anything you've done. And then next day they declare bankruptcy, and that was that.
Oh man.
So,
I mean, when's about was that though? Was that sort of, that would have been early 2000s, was it?
Yeah, pretty closer to maybe 2007, maybe 2000.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in that window, maybe a little before. Man, I don't remember. I black those out in my memory. those things are all blurred.
It's the best thing to do, isn't it? Just blank it out.
Yeah.
Move forward.
Yeah.
So you've decided now. Then you've taken that advice and you've done it yourself.
Master of your own destiny.
Yeah, master of your own destiny with a Kickstarter for Recovery Initiative. Recovery Incorporated. I'm always getting titles wrong.
He is.
I'm terrible at it.
You could put Batman in front of him and he'd get it wrong.
Bat guy.
Batmite.
yeah. So, and what's the idea behind the story? I mean, for those who have no idea, who've never seen Strip or anything like that, what's the pitch for it?
So, Mia Ray, she comes from a bad background. She had a very rough past. She had a couple of grifters, but she had a good uncle. Her a crook, and but her her father's brother, by was a police officer, and her parents left her uncle and aunt raised when she was young. So she was started out in a bad home, but was then left with a good home, and had good roles for a brief period of time, and then because of her, they met with a bad fate. Right. And then she was put back with her parents, and they ran to the United States trying to start life. She eventually ran away. She got back in with a bad crowd, and she ended up being in that bad crowd, getting in herself and getting into some trouble roaming around. But to get out of there and get back to the U.S. with a clean record, and she wanted to do right by her uncle, so she was able to get her GED, her high school graduation test, and she was able to become a cop. She was pretty good at to detect people. She gets put in robbery. Pretty good at it, except for the fact that she really doesn't personality type. She's like me in a there's a streak in me to be stick who likes truth and justice and loyalty and all those Dudley Do Right kind of things, right? Yeah. My personality is, I'm very much a questioner and a rebel. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like obeying stupid rules that make no sense. So that Dudley Do Right in me and the rebel in me, or like banging heads constantly.
Clashing. Yeah.
So that's very much her personality as well. So she wants to be a cop, and she wants to do right. She wants to do good, but reality doesn't really lend herself to being confined by those rules. So she's constantly getting in trouble as a police officer. She's not really suited for that law abiding, that kind of constriction, So she figures out a way to be able to play by the bad guy's rules. She starts working for companies to retrieve stolen goods, so that the insurance companies pay out on the insurance policies.
Hence the title. I'm getting the title now.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So she's no longer confined by a police officer. She's no longer confined by the same laws and restrictions that police officers are. Her only job is her job is not to find justice. Her job is only to get back the stolen object. Yeah. And it's high risk, high reward type endeavor. If she get the stolen item back, she gets no pay whatsoever. But if she gets it back, she gets 20% the value of the object. So if it's a $50 million object, she gets a really hefty payday.
Yeah.
So, but really good at what she does.
A bit like a bounty hunter then, but instead of criminals, it's lost object.
That's right. Instead of people, it's for things. Yes. So she gets to use all the skills that she's at, and because she was a police officer, she knows how to do a lot of things. She knows how to law. She knows, because of her. She knows people and has connections. So she spends a lot of her free time training and do things that she would need to do to be able to steal things.
yeah. And
she steals from the bad guys.
Yeah.
She found a way to be a bad guy and a good guy at the same time.
I would imagine that through the process of all of this, she gets into a hell of a lot of trouble all the time.
Yes, because she's stealing from people that are thieves and don't want the stuff they've stolen to be stolen. And they have egos that don't like being bruised in that manner. So yes, she is definitely making people angry. And she also has the bad past that I mentioned before. The ghost from that past will definitely come. I have or five. I haven't decided quite. I have outlines for lines, 4 major story arcs. So this will be these will be the first story arc of 4, and I haven't quite decided. I guess we'll see how this all goes, but I might add story arc between 2 of the ones that I have. There's going to be 4 or 5 story arcs total. So I have it all planned out, kind of where it all goes, which I like, because I'm of stories that are not being made long. I like writers who do planning.
You actually know what's going to happen next.
Yes, and so they leave little hints and clues and things that you see along, but you don't know that you see them, and then later on you'll be like, gosh, that was from issue 2, you know. And so there's things in this very first issue that are things you'll see a payoff in some of the future storylines.
Cool. And that's good, because that's all about world building as well, isn't it? You know, if you could create a world that that is real, it feels real, you can plant all these little like seeds of ideas to turn up later on. Who would you say that which writers have sort of inspired and influenced you over the years? When you approach your work, are there writers that you think of?
That's a good question. There's writers from all over, lots of different just comics, but screenwriters. I was influenced screenwriting probably more than comic writers, or great. Now I just like great stories. I don't even care novels, comic books, movies.
It does sound, hearing you, Michael, describe the story and the background behind it. It does feel like a very cinematic concept. Now, obviously this has been on the drawing board more or less for over 10 years. How much of these 5 story arcs that you're explaining now were in your mind 10 years ago? Has this been germinating that long? Something that you go back to every now and again and pick up and noodle about with? And I suppose the lead question to all of this, why after 10 years now then? Are you at that point where it's fully formed and you're just bursting to let it go? When John Freeman and I contacted me, and we sort of got to know each other, and he asked me if I wanted to do something for the magazine. I sat down with my best friend Dean, who's on the KickStarter page. He and I sat down. All right, what to do? And I told him, well, I've been wanting to create like this since I was like 20. When I saw Nikita, Luc Besson's film.
Right, yeah, great movie.
1991, whichever it was. That was sort of like a paradigm shift for me. Seeing an attractive woman convincing things that I'd only ever seen men do before. That changed everything. I was like, why would I want to watch a guy do this when I can watch a woman do this? This is like that. I'm never going from that. That's why. That's a completely degree shift. Hello, and then later 90s, the remake of the Thomas Crown that Renee's character, Catherine Banning, she works for an insurance company who's get back the stolen. to me, she was the story of the film. She was everything. I was like, that's the coolest job I've ever heard of in my entire life. Like, I want a whole series woman. I want to know everything about this woman's life. That's the coolest thing ever.
Wow.
So it's basically Nikita meets the Thomas Crown affair.
yeah, exactly. So a character of nature had been ruminating in my mind years after that. So as soon as John contacted me and, you know, set my mind aflame, when I sat down with Dean, I was like, okay, this has been germinating in my head for like forever. So I don't know, how do we make this work? Let's figure this out. So that's what we did. And what we did is we came up first story arc. If you were to ask Dean, he would be laughing his off right now. He would tell you this happened. Dean's great at coming up with concepts for things, and then he'll tell you that is I take one little idea and my mind spirals it out into this huge epic that spans decades or centuries or whatever. I do that with everything. That's just what my mind does, because as I sit every day and either it's scripting this, or especially once I start drawing, because writing is kind of all consuming for the brain. You have to live in that moment.
Yeah.
But when you're drawing, when you're sitting at the drawing board for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, your mind is focused on whatever it is you're drawing, but the other half of my brain is just free. It's just free to like daydream and drift and just think about whatever. So my mind just noodling out the whole life story of characters. What else happens? Like, what happens next, and what happens after that, and. So
do you find yourself sort of being in the middle of a page drawing, thinking, shit, I need to write this down because I'm coming up with ideas while I'm drawing? Yeah.
Yes. And I'll tell you, the Internet 2.0 and Google Documents has been a game changer for my life, because you used to have a notebook that you would go write everything down in and handwrite it. And if you woke up in the middle of the night, you'd scribble crap down that you couldn't understand. You look at it the next day and you'd be like, I can't read a word of that. I don't know what I wrote. You know, but with Google Docs, I can wake up in the middle of the night, or I can get out of the shower. You know, like sometimes I'll be in the shower and a scene comes to you and this great dialogue comes to you, and all of a sudden you're like, I started watching like now I have to remember this scene, and you're like saying it over to yourself 10 times in your head while you're like, okay, I gotta wash, I gotta get this all done, and I gotta get ripped off, and I gotta get dried off, and I gotta get to a computer before I forget, right?
Totally get
I always
that,
have my So I always have my phone in the bathroom with me. I don't have to. I can skip the drying off. I can get anywhere else. All I have to do is go. I can just open up Google Docs, like swipe text it into my phone, or if I wake up in the middle of the night, I can just grab my phone, open up the Google Doc, and swipe text it into my phone. You know. And if I'm in the middle of the day, I can just do it on my computer.
What is it about the shower?
The library.
What is it about the shower that is so inspiring? Because I write music a lot in the shower. You know,
I thought you were going to say you were strumming the shower.
Steady on, Ollie. But yeah, I've probably written a dozen songs in the shower. It's like, what is it about the shower?
It's the shower, the other S thing you do in the bathroom. Those are my two places. Those are my two most creative places in the universe.
Well, there you go, everybody.
If I'm hearing you correctly, Mike, you've just said that G Drive is the new dream journal of the 21st century. I like it. But surely your writing partner, Dean, he hasn't had to sort of wake up to 2:00 a.m. Phone calls from you at your creative height going, listen, I've got a great idea, quick. You're not that kind of collaborator.
I don't do that. No, because I can just text him in the morning and say,
press send,
say, look at the document, you know, because you know that's the other great thing about the docs is that you share a document, written screenplay where we're both in real time. He's at his house, I'm at my, and we're literally we'll be on the phone, kind of like we are now, but not in video. We're just on the phone.
Yeah.
We're having a conversation and editing it live in different locations, you know, on the phone. It's awesome. It is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. It is so not work with your writing partner without having to live 20 minutes or a half hour, you know, to get together, and you can both be typing at the same time. It's the best. It's so
immediate.
Yeah.
Technology is great, isn't it? Because it does allow creatives to work that way. And
as long as it's working.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but
it's the worst thing ever when it's not working.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I'm still getting like a little bit of an echo. Are you getting an echo, or is it just?
I'm getting an echo from Michael, but because Michael's talking so eloquently, it's only the odd word or two that's coming off as a sort of a reverb.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, isn't there? Because I can hear myself in my headphones like on a delay. So I don't know if something's picking up your end, Michael, picking up some audio, some extra, like another audio or something. I'm not sure.
But I think we can understand everything Mike's saying anyway.
Yeah, we can understand.
Yeah. Now, Mike, getting back to the artwork side of it. Was there any temptation after 10 years of going back and maybe noodling about George Lucas style with the artwork? No extra CGI. It's just as it is. Did you notice then the new pages that you're developing? Have you tried to keep it in style with where you were 10 years ago, or are you allowing that natural evolution to show in the work?
That's really good. That's a question. I used to spend a lot of time thinking about stuff. I used to worry about my styling or trying to draw or being in a different mood one day than the next, and the drawing's not looking the same. And a couple of years ago, gave up. I just quit. I just caring. What I realized is that I think the only person who's really going to notice or care is me.
Yeah.
And I don't think most people notice or care. And so I just gotta just draw. Just stop worrying about it and draw. It's too easy as a sensitive artist worrying about to find impediments to the process. You just gotta let some point. You just gotta. And if I were to start looking at this first issue that I see in 2012 and just wanted to forget about it, I started to look at it now and wanted to noodle with it. Man, that's a rabbit hole to go down because you could do that forever.
Yeah,
and then you just never finish something. I'd rather just keep moving forward. Like Definitely. I did the best I could at the time, and I think it still holds up pretty well. So I'd rather keep moving forward. I'd rather be getting the second issue done, so then backers get issue 1 in their hands. I'm ready to go with issue 2.
Yeah. And you're doing very well.
You can't procrastinate forever, can you? Otherwise, nothing ever happens.
No.
Sometimes you got to do, and you've got to go for it. I see that we're just looking on the screen here. We've got some they look like variant covers.
Adam Huntley,
yes.
Pat Olif.
Right.
Nice.
I hope I'm pronouncing
and Adam Huntley one.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I like about alternate covers that I don't know if people really know about is that yeah, that's right.
No,
he was so
he hasn't got a beard.
To give me that
beard.
picture.
Where's his beard?
No. one for a little. He shaved it off. He's so private. I really had to twist to give me a picture to put on the Kickstarter page. I hired my friends to do alternate covers, and I have lined up to do all my alternate covers 2, 3, and 4 as well. Some people are that do lots of covers on Kickstarter because they're kind of more known and they get more support, and more people interested in getting the cover bundles. And I think that's a very fair and valid strategy. But when I was in art school way back in the late 80s and early 90s, I loved having we would all get together and take turns inking each other's drawings and doing that kind of stuff. And doing that kind of stuff. I loved hanging out with my friends and drawing together and doing stuff together. You don't get to do that very often as a professional. So for me, getting to do my own project and being the boss, so to speak, I was like, this is a chance for me to work with my friends, For me, it's a very personal thing, and it's the project and just makes it more fun, personal. So I'm very proud of the alternate covers, because every single person that's going to be doing an alternate cover for my books is a friend. It's someone I know personally. It's someone I can hang out with and have a drink with and have over to my,
Wow. It must be a blast getting your characters drawn by your mates back to you.
Yes, it's a first for me too. Live. So that's yes, it's a very cool and weird and new experience.
I must admit, I keep on coming back to that Pat Olive cover because I really, really like that one. I mean, I'm not saying, by all means, I'm not saying Adam Huntley's isn't. It just speaks to me, that cover.
Good, cool. Yeah,
it's cool.
I must say, you certainly get a very good feel of the book from the Kickstarter page there. It's a lovely page of art there. It's got a little sort of reminder of Jerry Ordway to it.
Oh,
yeah,
that's super nice. Thank you, Jerry's artwork. I was a huge fan of his when I was in college.
I imagine, Mike, you probably, being of similar age, you probably grew up with All-Star Squadron and see Rick Buckler suddenly be replaced by Jerry Ordway, and it was just quite amazing when I was young to get those comics.
Yeah, I was a huge. When I was in college, I remember Jerry started drawing. What was it? Action comics, I think.
That's right. Yeah, I think. Yeah, no, it's The Adventures of Superman.
Adventures of Superman, wasn't it? Yeah, when
that's right. Yes, there you go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They did the whole Death of thing. And all that. Yeah, I was a huge fan then. I was like, as a guy who really likes. I really appreciate good figure drawing and solid knowledge of me and stuff. Jerry was like, he was one of those guys where I'm like, wow, this guy knows what he's doing. Yeah. So
solid and great storyteller as well.
His
pages just flowed. He made it look easy.
Him and George Perez really got me into comics, I think. That double hit of All-Star Squadron and New Teen Titans. It just
we lost you then, Ollie. Your audio's gone.
Is it?
There you go.
There we go.
Say that again.
I was just talking about how Jerry Ordway's art way and George Perez's art way were the double hits that got me into comics. I think, although they're very different artists, and then when they came together to do a few issues of Crisis on Infinite Earths, that was a real high fanboy moment for me.
You know who one of my all-time favorites has always been?
Go on, Mike.
From beginning through to today, actually. Right. Alan Davis.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, man. Alan is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there.
I mean, we're all of a certain age, aren't we?
Yeah.
And, Alan really did sort of define an era almost when he went over and started working in America. and he was putting out some amazing. I love that little run he did on Detective Comics.
Yes,
beautiful, and obviously all the the Captain Britain stuff, and whenever he like guested on like X-Men or something like that, it was always an absolute pleasure,
smooth. It's such a beautiful, smooth line.
Yeah, and Mark Farmer, Mark Farmer, who we work with a lot. Mark is an and
Brian Hitch. Hitch was it?
Yeah.
No, Brian Hitch. Who inked him before Farmer? It was Neary.
Yeah. Another good inker. Yeah.
Always comments on my style being clean. That definitely comes from my Alan Davis.
Yeah, you can see, now that you say it, you can certainly see it.
Yeah, and the dynamism as well in the storytelling, because that's another great thing about Alan Davis, wasn't it? Is the action scenes.
Gosh. Nobody torso like Alan Davis does.
And of course, we got all the Captain Britain stuff before America, because we had it as sort of like the black and white. So we had it in the black and white, and then saw it recolored years later. But wonderful.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know. My friend, I didn't even know about specialty shops in the United States until I was like 16. Mine took me on a Friday afternoon.
Wow.
And so I went and oh my God, it was like Nirvana,
I think we all have very special memories, don't we? Like that, where the first time we entered a comic specialty shop as a kid.
I think I bank account that day.
Yeah.
I discovered Mark Silvestri and Walt Simonson and Alan Davis that day. Yeah. I was like grabbing all the X-Men I could off the wall that day. And it's just like my whole world changed that day.
Oh yeah, man! I'm
right
right there with
got
you.
Those fond memories, haven't we?
We're right there with you, man.
Shops. Obviously, we had spinner racks over in Britain as well, Mike. And so I remember those, because obviously there's not an equivalent nowadays. But I think finding those speciality shops, I think nowadays, if you're in comics, because of dads like me, the kids get taken to specialty comics straight away. There's no other way of finding comics other than on the internet, I suppose.
Yeah. Yep.
The adventure's taken out of it.
Yeah. I know.
Although it can be an adventure looking at Kickstarter and see what I'm doing here and finding something new like Recovery Incorporated, Mike.
Yeah. That's great. I'm glad you found it.
It's the modern version, isn't it? Instead of trawling the comic shops, we can trawl Kickstarter. I mean, I am astonished at the moment. Yeah, how much stuff is on Kickstarter.
So it is going well, Mike. I mean, you're up over 4,000 now for 6,000. It's clearly, I touch wood, going to do well. How quick, you implied earlier, how quick would you like to follow that up with a second issue?
Plan, my hope, and I'm going to butt as hard as I can to do this, is to get I'd like to have my second kit in June. So I'm going to try to have ready to go in June. I like to have issue 3 done and the third are ready to go in December. Fantastic. And that would make the Kickstarter for horror hopefully would be April or May, I think. So that's the goal. So I just got to work my butt off. But let me tell you, I'm plenty motivated.
Yeah. You must be pleased with the success of it so far. Then, with 2 weeks still to go. Yes,
I'm very humbled, very super happy, over the moon, very thankful, very thankful. Yes, I feel like I have a new future in front of me. So,
that's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah,
that's fantastic. That really, I love hearing that from a creator. Especially with all the trials and tribulations that the stories had. It's really good to hear such positive and hopeful talk. Yeah.
I'm going to tear up if you're not careful.
Change the habit of a lifetime.
Well, listen,
sorry, go on, mate.
No, I was going. I mean, it's clearly been a labour of love for 10 years. The animation that I'm seeing in your face and in your body language, not only is it infectious, but it clearly shows your love for this character. She's clearly a living, breathing character that lives in your mind.
Oh, you've gone on your side.
I've knocked him sideways with my questioning.
Literally knocked him sideways.
And I get a feeling the audio's gone as well, bless him.
The audio gone. Let me. Yes, it has.
But it's frozen on Mike's end. So
okay,
maybe...
well, while Mike's getting himself back online, I'm going to read out a few of the comments because we've got a few comments. We've got Clint Farley. Hi, Clint. Every one of those covers looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Michael, hopefully read this back.
And I'm going to quickly, you do that. I'm going to find out what the pledge is. I should have it in American pounds.
From Rife Mayer, sorry to have joined so late. I'll have to watch the beginning later. You can do that. Anyone who's watching who's just joined, you can just watch this on YouTube or on Twitch or on Facebook anytime you like. You can even edit out all the gaffes. Dust Bunny Mafia, welcome back. Having your artist friends included in your project is the best. Yeah, that is really cool. We really like that idea.
Although Mike's been very reticent to say who the other artists are he's got lined up. So it might be worth grilling him on that if we can get him back in the next 4 minutes.
Yeah, hopefully we can get him back. We've got to get him back. We don't want to just end the show without saying goodbye, do we?
No, especially such an animated guest as that. I wanted to see him cry live on air. That would have been a first for us.
Well, we're not finished yet, are we? From Mighty John, we've got Ordway on Adventures of Superman was brilliant. Totally agree, mate. Totally agree.
I hope he caught him in his recent return to DC on the one shot, Secret Origins, which was a death metal tie. I favourably reviewed it on comiccon.com, but it was a great return to form and a real great love letter to crises of the past, really.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah.
Robbie Smith, I love the artwork. We do too,
nice,
Robbie.
Yeah,
it's very nice stuff, and it's really dynamic. Yeah. Another one from John Davis on Clandestine, fantastic.
Yeah, that's one that's often forgotten, isn't it? But he wrote Andrew that one.
Yeah, I mean that was actually, I'd say that was like a pinnacle of creativity, that era for Alan. It really was. It was just such good stuff. He was just churning out good work all the time at that point. Clint Farley again, love those page layouts, nice flow. I totally agree, Clint. That that's what I loved about this. Is when I saw this, that's what drew me to it. Was the storytelling, the movement, the action. It's just you don't see.
And also another example of cinematic language, I feel, sort of being used. You can see the pacing because of the smooth lines and the darkness that's balanced ever so well with the light and the color scheme. It's all there on one page for you, isn't it?
It's great stuff.
A little bit of Steve Rude I can see in there as well.
Oh, that's another artist I love. Yeah.
But very classic sort of influences.
Yeah. It's all good influences, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another one from John Davis, great layout design. Yeah. Dust Bunny Mafia. Kickstarter is great for discovering new comics and content. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir there, mate. Yeah, totally.
There's some great ones. We every now and again on a Super Sunday, which we do every Sunday, just as a themed show of articles on Comic Con. We do have a dip into crowdfunding. Certainly, we looked into it in the early lockdown, and I was blown away. It's how I ended up back in Maddie once in future.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got Michael back.
Oh, excellent!
I'm going to bring him back in. Welcome back, Michael.
Yes. Did you drop your phone in some water, Mike?
No, my phone battery died.
Oh
no! I
was just about to tell you it was on 1%.
I tell you something. We have overcome so many things for this show.
I'm so sorry.
We're not going to be stopped. We are not going to be stopped. We're going to keep plugging this book. So what we've just done, Mike, we've just run through all the comments. Some lovely comments there about the book. I will just flick through them again so that you can see them. Ordway on Adventures of Superman was brilliant. Love the artwork from Robbie Smith. Clint Farley, love those page layouts, nice flow. Yeah, we got some lovely comments about the book. I think people are really appreciating the thing that we're getting is that they're really appreciating the storytelling and the action.
Yeah, I'm glad we've been able to get
Thank you so much.
Eyes. Yeah.
So lovely comments. This will be my first indie Kickstarter comic discovery for me, and it is glorious.
Oh, excellent.
Hey,
there we
that's
go.
Great.
Oh wow, Clint, we're so pleased that to bring you this book, and fantastic, and I'm sure Michael is pleased too.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love the platform, and I've met some really wonderfully nice people who are also, creating some stuff. One of the guys that I've met who's taken the comics launch course that I'm a part of to learn how to create and run a successful Kickstarter page. Colin Devonshire, who's doing the book by the time I get to Dallas.
Right.
He's a great guy. He impresses the heck out of me. He's an ER doctor in Boston. He's been an ER doctor for like 14 years now.
And he's got time to do comics.
Well, he writes it. He doesn't draw it. He hires somebody else to draw the book. But his writing is based a lot on his medical knowledge as a doctor. But I'm like, so not only is his book based on way more knowledge than most people than you would get to write a kind of a zombie book or something like that. But like, the guy is awesome. I mean, he takes care of people for a living. You know what I mean? He's out there on the front lines during this pandemic, and he's just the coolest guy. He is such a great guy. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm all in, man. I'm supporting this guy all the way, I've met a few other guys like that along the way that like, they're becoming like the greatest friends,
Wonderful.
I'm so happy to be friends with and to get to help support, along the way.
It's a very, very friendly industry, the comic book world, I've discovered. Obviously there's sides of it that aren't, but from my experience, both at cons online and elsewhere, it's everyone's happy, everyone's welcoming. And everyone's very supportive of one another as well.
Yeah, I think so. We're happy when we're not tortured.
You wouldn't be an artist if you weren't
tortured. We're all tortured.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's inevitable that at some point we are going to experience some sort of torture as creative people.
I love telling this story. When I was 15, I was living in the suburbs of Dallas, Texas, and I went to my very first comic book convention ever. Right. And I met Mike Zeck.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. And I showed him some, drawings I had done and some page layouts and stuff. And he said to me, way back then, if you can do anything else, do that.
Wow.
So you can tell how happy he was way back then, right? So
I'm glad you didn't listen.
It was 2018 or 19. I think it was 2019. It was 2019. I met him. I did a convention here in Chicago, and he was at the show, and he was just across the aisle from me, a few spots down, and I was like, oh my God, that's Mike Zeck, and there had just been one of those big artist edition books that came out of some of his work. It had a bunch of Punisher stuff in it and whatever. And I'm like, and I had gotten it because I was always a big fan of his, and he'd meant something special to me because I'd met him all those years ago, right? And so I brought it in the next day, and when I had a few minutes where there wasn't much going on, I took my big old book over there and I got in line. and I bought a couple of prints, and then I put my big book down in front of him, and I said, I met you years ago, and this is what you told me. So I told him that, and he just laughed, and he says, yeah, that's definitely something I would have said. So then I got him to sign my art. I got him to sign my artist edition book.
Oh, brilliant!
I got him to sign it with saying that. If you could do anything else, do that. I'm never ever selling that book.
Oh man, that's priceless, isn't it? Absolutely priceless. I love that story.
Yeah.
A couple more comments. I have a sense that this guy knows you. Dust Bunny Mafia.
Yeah.
Clint, it's a message to Clint. Mike's one of the great. Mike's one is a great one to get in on. So I was talking about the Kickstarter there, and he's also saying,
my friend. Yes,
running a Kickstarter is torture enough. They are stressed. It is stressful, isn't it? I've done a few Kickstarters, and it can be a little bit stressful.
I did one, and it wasn't stressful at all.
No? Well, there you go. We all have different experiences.
It was for a graffiti festival, so completely different to comics.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. It's funny because I did time in the Army. I was in the infantry. I've done a lot of pretty hardcore things. That were very physically and mentally challenging. So I don't particularly find a Kickstarter nerve-wracking, but it's definitely more grinding than I anticipated. I've definitely been wiped out and tired when I go to bed every night. It's it's like an undercurrent that's there every day. You know what I mean? It's like
always on your mind, isn't it?
You're constantly checking on the stats. You're constantly thinking of all the things you need to get done, and you want to reply to the comments. And I got new pledge levels I got to get put up today, so I've been trying to get art done for that. And it's like there's all these other things. You're checking on your Facebook ads to make sure that they're getting good click rates and that your cost per click is good. And it's like. It's just like you're constantly writing notes about, okay, I got to get this much done today, and then there's this I got to get done tomorrow, and it's like a never-ending parade of things you got to do. Wow. You know, and I'm like,
you're going to do it all again in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. Well, I don't want to think about having to make another Kickstarter video. I don't want to have to think about that either.
Oh, the video, yeah. Oh, I hate doing the videos. I really hate the videos because it's like
do it with
they're false. It's so hard to be real, so hard to be genuine on the video when you're basically selling something and it's. You just want to come across as genuine, but it's not easy. Yeah, it's hard.
And I'm even lucky because I used to do motion graphics, so like I'm acquainted with Adobe Premiere and After Effects and stuff. So like I know how to use those programs. So for me, it's like okay, I know how to do this stuff, so it's pretty easy. But it's still like hours and hours and hours of grinding slow motion work of like this frame, this frame, this frame, this frame, this frame. You know, so it's like. Even if you know how to do it, it still takes forever.
Oh, definitely.
So it's like, you get it done, and you're like, I never want to do one of those again. And I don't want to think about the fact that I got to do another one in a few months, and then another one in a few months after that. It's like, I don't want to think about it.
One day at a time, Mike.
Huh?
One day at a time.
Yes, I know. You're right.
Well, the thing is, you get a high from when you get a successful Kickstarter, and that sort of pushes you then to have a go at another, and then you're thinking, why did I fall for this?
Yes, doing it exactly again. Right. That's like having children, you know, like
well, I was going to say that, but I thought all the female viewers would go, "You don't know what you're talking about." So I decided.
That's why I'm talking specifically from a woman's point of view. I'm like, why would after having one child, why would a woman ever want to have another child? I'm like, I don't understand how they get that amnesia. Like, how do they forget?
How do they forget that pain?
I mean, I have a child. I get it. I know how wonderful they are and how awesome it is to have a child. But like, I watched what my wife went through, not only being pregnant, but like labor, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't see how you get amnesia from labor. I don't get that at all.
Yeah, I can't even imagine the pain. But yeah, just watching a woman giving birth, you just think, oh my God, I definitely could not do that. You know, when I watched my son being born, it was like a real life changer because I suddenly realized that women were stronger than men. You know, without any doubt. You know what I mean?
It's a whole different kind of strength.
Yeah, totally different.
That's a whole different kind of thing.
Oh yeah. I had a whole new respect for women after watching that.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
We've got another comment here from Clint. What is a good resource for learning how to start a Kickstarter? Wife and I have been dying to try it. That's a good question. You mentioned a course that you attended.
Yes,
Michael.
yes.
Would you recommend that?
Oh yes. I would start out by seeking out the Comics Launch podcast.
Right. I think
it's
I've seen it.
COMIXLAUNCH Comics Launch podcast. It's run by Tyler James Vogel, and there's also, I think he has a page on Facebook for it. And I'll tell you up front, those things, while you can listen to the podcast for free, and I think there's a comics launcher group you can join for free, those things will funnel you to a course that you can pay to take. Now, I will tell you though, it is the best money. If you are serious about doing a creator-owned thing and taking control of your own destiny, it's the best money you'll ever spend. I'm kid you not. If you take the Comics Launch Pro course, which is the most expensive version, which gives you access to a course on marketing for yourself. Let's see, give me my fingers in here. Marketing for yourself, building an email newsletter following, and building that helps you market for yourself too. It gives you a course on how to build a Kickstarter page, how to run a Kickstarter campaign. It'll also teach you how to effectively use Facebook ads. It gives you so much information. It will if you take that course and you seriously apply yourself to the things that Tyler has to teach, it will take you 6 months at a minimum to go through the information that he has to teach. He's a Harvard educated teacher.
Wow.
Who has put his knowledge and skills. He loves comics. That's why he does this. He has his own brand, Comics Tribe, and he writes and publishes comics. And he is successful enough at it and is passionate enough about it that he's put his love of the medium and his degree in teaching into developing a course to help other people be as successful as he has been. He is passionate about it, and he's there to help other people. If you take the class that I did, there's a private group for people who take the class. There's a private group for those of us who have taken that class, and Tyler's there every day. He's an active participant in it every day, and we're all there as a family to help each other out, to give each other advice. I'm telling you right now, it's single-handedly changed my life.
Wow.
It's helped me take
You're definitely not being paid to say this, are you? This
not at all.
This is not an advert. This is a genuine testimonial.
Not at all, man. This comes from the bottom of my heart,
and that's the best endorsement, isn't it?
Great.
Someone who's experienced it, who's been through it, they've got the value. You know, you can't get a better recommendation than that. If
you look at my Kickstarter page, if you look at those numbers, I mean, I'd like to think that my writing and drawing ability has something to do with my success. But I will tell you, Tyler's course and everything that he has to offer in that course, and my willingness to listen and learn is every bit as responsible for my numbers on that page. So everything I'm saying comes from my love for Tyler and my love for that course and his dedication to being there and helping us learn how to do that successfully.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I think you make a very good point as well. It doesn't matter how good a course is, you've still got to have that desire. You still got to have that work ethic, haven't you? You know, it's your willingness to listen, your willingness to take the advice that that person gives you. You know, just attending the course alone is not going to make your Kickstarter or whatever you're doing a course in a success. It's your willingness to learn and to listen and to put the work in.
Yeah, I won't lie to you. I've seen people that are in the group that don't really listen or don't really apply the lessons as much as other people. And you see the results, you know. But the ones who apply themselves, the ones who have an open mind enough to listen or to really go through, you know, some of the lessons aren't easy. Some of the things are things that take you out of your comfort zone, you know. They force you to do things you're not comfortable with or to accept truths that you're not comfortable with. And you have to do the work. You know, you have to put yourself in those uncomfortable positions and force yourself to grow as a person. And do things you're not comfortable with to get better. And to accept certain truths, you know, about marketing statistics or about being in front of a camera. Lots of different areas, you know, but if you listen and you force yourself to grow and do the things that you need to do and apply yourself, man, the benefits are amazing. I mean, amazing.
You get the reward. And you know, that's so true about everything in life, isn't it? I mean, we've got some comments here about that. Aroa Comics, best money I've ever spent on a comics course. Your buddy Dust Bunny.
Yeah, that's Brett.
Yeah, seconded. It has been a great investment.
Yes,
and
he's Brett's. Both of these guys have done successful Kickstarters. Yes.
Yeah,
they're more experienced.
You'll be telling us to buy stock in GameStop next, Mike.
No, I'm too late to that party.
Yeah,
I got to figure out what they're going after next.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great. I was reading that story today. That was a great story. Great story. It's everywhere. Isn't it?
I've got to get on Reddit. I haven't been. I'm too old to be on Reddit. I guess I got to figure out the whole Reddit game.
Yeah, I'm a latecomer to that as well. Well, we have gone way over our hour.
We have.
You know, but we missed a bit of time at the beginning, didn't we? Yeah. So I think we've probably done about an hour, actually. So fantastic, Michael. Thank you so much for coming on. And
thanks for having me.
Really great chat.
It's been really good fun, hasn't it, Ollie?
It has. It always wakes me up because obviously over here in the UK, it's after 9 o'clock. But I always get a buzz from these interviews. I stay up a lot later anyway. But it's been really... Every time I sit down to do one of these podcasts with Shane, I'm always blown away by the conversation. So thank you for your time tonight, Mike.
Well, hey, thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, likewise. And all the best with the Kickstarter. Well, I think we're pretty sure it's going to hit target because you're doing so well.
And then you can come back and talk about issue 2 in a couple of months' time.
Yeah,
I would love to.
You're welcome to come back, mate. You know, when we've got, we
just touched on it.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll say good night and we'll all the best for Kickstarter and we'll see you again.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All the best,
so
Mike.
much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Cheers.
And to you.